Hello everyone, welcome to SI UK Japan webinar. Thank you for joining us today. We are now live with University of Essex. Over to you, Sachiko.
はい、それではですね、本日皆様お忙しいところ、エセックス大学の言語学部のですね、ウェビナーにご参加いただきましてありがとうございます。はい、本日はですね、エセックス大学のクリスティーナ教授にお話しいただきますので、皆様のご参考になりますと幸いです。よろしくお願いいたします。Okay, please start your presentation, Christina. Thank you. Sorry, Christina, you have to unmute.
Yeah, sorry, got it. Yeah, sorry. So good morning again, everyone. It's morning here, it's 11 a.m. But I know it's much later where you are, so I should say good afternoon or good evening to you instead. My name is Christina. I'll show to you my full name and my contact details in a moment because I have them on my presentation slides. I will talk to you about the MA TESOL here at Essex. It's actually our biggest MA program from the linguistics side. I have included information about TESOL in general and how we approach it here at Essex, what aspects of TESOL we focus on. And then I have included information about the modules we run because I think that the course structure is overall very interesting and covers different areas. I also have a lot of information that I can share with you about entry requirements, about assessment on the course, about other things that are not related with the modules that we teach, and I'm happy to answer those. And I'm also happy to answer any questions that you might have about our other MA programs in the department. We run a number of other MA programs in linguistics, and I know those quite well, and I am also happy to answer any questions you might have later today. So I will start by sharing my screen. Give me a moment to do that. And I will also do presentation. I want to do full screen for this. Oh, so many messages here. Hold on. It's just I'll do it from here because the other ones I can't see. Okay, and I just take these out of the way. Right. Okay, so on this screen, you see my full name. Okay, I'll say a little bit about me so that you know who I am and why I'm talking to you today. And I have this here. Just open them all together. So I am the director of the MA TESOL course at Essex, which means that basically I oversee the structure of the course, what our students like, what our students would like to be done differently. And I also make sure that the course is updated according to the needs of our students. For this reason, I work closely with the MA TESOL students in particular, but in many of the classes that I run, I also have many MA Applied Linguistics students and also sometimes MA Psycholinguistics students who also take the modules I teach on. It is interesting because I was a student at Essex as well, and I did my MA here. In 2008, 2009. And back then it wasn't called TESOL, it was called TEFL, which is slightly different, teaching English as a foreign language. Throughout the years, we have made lots of changes on the course. We even changed the name. But the idea of how best to prepare a teacher in order to teach English as a second language, in order to teach English to speakers of other languages, has remained pretty much the same. So we rely on the main tenets, on the main premises, in order to train our students, our MA students, as best as we can, so that they are then confident and well-equipped English language teachers. So I can give you information about the course from two perspectives. My perspective as a teacher on the course and the director of the course, and also some perspective from my student experience. I will say a little bit, just one slide about my research so that you see how it is connected with what I am going to say in a moment, in the next couple of slides. So I work on the area of emotions, and in fact, this is my favorite area of research. And I started by looking at language learners' emotions, and in particular anxiety, which is primarily negative emotion that language learners experience in the classroom. But more recently, I started, having an interest in teachers, in how language teachers feel in classrooms, what difficulties they experience, and what they can learn from these emotion-related difficulties. So what they can learn from emotionally laden, emotionally difficult experience as part of their professional lives, and how these emotional difficulties or challenges can actually help them to improve their practice and the way they approach teaching in the future. But the emotions, basically the idea that connects both language learners' emotions or anxiety, language teacher emotions. So emotions is like the main area of my research. I am sure you all know what TESOL means, what it stands for. It's teaching English to speakers of other languages. And what is nice about it is that because it focuses on how we can best teach English to other people who don't have English as their first language, it is relevant anywhere in the world, because we all know that English is a widely spoken or learned language, perhaps the most widely spoken or learned language. And for this reason, we need to have well-trained English language teachers. On this slide and the next one, I will say a little bit about what TESOL covers, but I want to clarify that what I have included here is related to the way we approach TESOL studies here at Essex. So I will present what TESOL covers in relation with how we teach TESOL here at Essex. The first thing that we focus on is how learners acquire the language. So we go through theories of language acquisition, what happens when people learn a language, what exactly do they learn, what happens with mistakes, what is actually a mistake, and how learners feel when they acquire a language. So there is input, there are lectures from us here at Essex on theories of language acquisition, and there are also lectures on theories of language teaching, not just language learning, but also language teaching. So we focus a lot on how teachers teach the language, and also on how they should or could teach the language. And this comes under this broader theme of approaches and methods in language teaching. What has changed throughout the years, how we approach language teaching differently nowadays compared to 50 years ago, for example, and what teachers need to know about language teaching methods and methodologies in the present times, given how the education system is actually structured, and the challenges that teachers face nowadays. For example, the challenge of online teaching and online learning due to COVID-19, and so on. We also focus on the 4 skills, that is speaking, listening, reading, and writing, and also on vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation, and how these can be taught, or how they should be taught, which means that we have dedicated modules on these areas. And we talk to our MA-TESOL students about how English language teachers could approach the teaching of these areas. We also focus extensively, I would say, on lesson planning. So we focus on lesson planning right from the start of the course, from October, November, when our classes start. And our students carry on working on lesson plans, producing lesson plans, and actually delivering those lessons until the end of the teaching terms, really. So we focus in a way on how lessons are planned, what materials we can use, like what textbooks, what exercises, what activities, what online materials we can use, and how we can actually evaluate them before we use them. And if we as teachers think that some of these materials are inappropriate or are not suitable for our learners' level, for our learners' motivation, for cultural reasons and so on, and we think they are not suitable, we also focus on how we can design our own materials and use them in the classroom. And as part of lesson planning, we also focus on how classrooms can be managed. So these are really important areas, and for this reason, we focus on them right from the start of the course. We also focus, and this is mainly through one of my classes. I will tell you the name of the class in a while. We focus on how learners and teachers think or feel or react or behave in language classrooms. Where does this, where do these emotions, where do these behaviors actually come from? What are they related with? And how we can, what can we do in order to address them, especially if we are talking about negative emotions, difficult emotions, or behaviors that are a little bit challenging for a teacher. So what can we do in those cases? So we focus a lot on the human side of things, if you like. And we also have a dedicated module on language learning and assessment, which is the last point that you see here, how language learning can be assessed and tested. And through this module, we focus on specific tests, on individual tests like a classroom test, on exam settings, exam classrooms, and overall what the principles of language assessment are or should be, and how we can best assess our students, also depending on their age, if they are children, or if they are adults, and depending on the reasons why they language. Okay, so I just wanted to give you an idea, a very brief idea of one of the aspects I have just mentioned, which is lesson planning or classroom planning, classroom management, and what exactly we cover as part of that. So in planning classes, I have listed here 4 points, and I have some questions on the next slide as well. I have listed 4 points that we pay particular attention to in our lectures here at Essex. So in planning classes, we make sure that our TESOL students try to conceptualize or learn to conceptualize the lesson as a whole. So they focus on the lesson as a whole, but also on the individual stages of the lesson, the individual parts of the lesson. We also help them with the aims and goals that we are setting for each class, and how they will achieve these goals. It is very important for practicing teachers, for our TESOL students, to be able to think of the lesson in advance, and to be able to think of different aspects of the lesson in advance. And aims, the lesson aims, are very important, are probably the first thing that we start with. So we are thinking of the aims of the lesson, and then we move on to decide how exactly we are going to structure and deliver the lesson. We also help them to know how to think about learner and teacher roles in the classes. What are language learners, English language learners, expected to do during the lesson and during different parts of the lesson? And what is the teacher role? What is the role of the teacher really in those classes? Does the teacher have the same role throughout one lesson, or does the teacher change their roles throughout the lesson? For example, at the beginning of the lesson, when the teacher is teaching grammar, they are in control of the whole class. But then later in the same lesson, when they want their students to produce language by using the grammar that was taught, the role of the teacher is kind of secondary, because the teacher wants the students to take the lead. The teacher wants the students to participate, to produce work, and so on. So the role of the students in that case becomes primary, is more important than the teacher. And the teacher is there to help and support the students. And that is why we concentrate a lot on learner and teacher roles and how this can change within the same lesson and across classes. And we also teach our TESOL students about the different stages, the different phases of a lesson, and how they can transition between those. How exactly should this transition be made, and how can we make sure that it is smooth for our students, for our learners, really, so that they do not feel that the lesson is getting too difficult for them and then they are demotivated. And here I have included some more questions, more specific questions, to give you an idea of areas we are focusing on in terms of lesson planning. These are questions that we actually show to our students here at Essex. So when they start lesson planning, when they start working on that, we give them these questions and ask them to have these questions in mind when they're planning their lessons, because they are all really useful for them to understand how best to plan things. For example, what is manageable in the time you have? Let's say that you need to teach a 50-minute lesson. What can you do within 50 minutes? Have you put too much in your lesson plan, or have you put too little? And then you will be there in your class and you don't know what to do. So it is important for teachers, for language teachers, to think about this question in advance. Second possible question: what is the best sequence to present and practice the target language? What is the best order, really? And how best can we do that within a particular lesson? How will the students be working? Will they be working on their own, with someone else, with one more person, or with more people, in small or larger groups? Again, this is an important decision to make in advance. What skills will they be developing and practicing? Will the lesson be focusing on one skill only? Will the lesson be focusing on the combination of two or more skills? For example, listening and speaking, listening and writing. These are the types of combinations that I have referred to. What language do the students or you as the teacher need to complete the tasks? Do you need to use simpler language so that your students can understand you? What is the level of the students and how much can they understand from you? And what will be difficult for the students and for the teacher? Because if we choose really difficult materials, difficult exercises, etc., our students might not be able to understand us as teachers. And this can cause some problems with their levels of concentration in class, with their levels of motivation as well. And they might lose focus, which we don't want to happen. And one last possible question is who will be doing what, why, and how? So what will the teacher do? What will the students do? We need to have like clear roles, clear responsibilities, and clear tasks for the teacher and for the students. I will probably, I have included here some qualities that we actually focus on the program and on the modules that we offer. For example, when we train our TESOL students here, we focus on good teaching. And good teaching can include a number of different aspects. You only see three here, three points. It can include a lot more, but I think that these are the three key points that we focus on. So we focus on knowledge of the subject matter. We need to make sure that when our students, our TESOL students plan their lessons, they know the subject very well. So they are well prepared to deliver that. We make sure that they know the available teaching methods, classroom management techniques, so that they are aware of as many teaching methods and classroom management techniques as possible, so that they can use the ones that they think are suitable for their lessons. And also we focus on personal qualities, which actually we can't always change through the training that we offer, but these are personal qualities that we remind our students to somehow use during their lessons. For example, a sense of humor, welcome humor from the students, and so on. Some other qualities like respect, trust, honesty, empathy, inspiring confidence and enthusiasm, and being approachable. And we highlight the importance of these qualities because they help the relationship, they facilitate the relationship between the teacher and the students, and they make up for a better lesson, for a lesson that the students will like more. And this is the main message, I think, from the classes, that when we are teaching languages, we want our students to like the class. Okay, so we want them to enjoy the class, enjoy what we do, so that the students can actually carry on learning. They can carry on with the class and not give up. So I have so far talked about some more like general ideas about TESOL, because these are ideas that we actually really use here at Essex and we rely on here at Essex. Now I will talk about the course at Essex, just to give you a better idea of what we do. And then we have time, we will have plenty of time to discuss my presentation in more detail and answer any questions you might have. So TESOL at Essex is vocationally relevant. So that is the first point. And what do we mean by this? Actually, we have structured a course which gives you theoretical knowledge about TESOL, but it also gives you practical knowledge about TESOL. And this is achieved through modules that we have, such as teaching practice, in which our students plan lessons and deliver lessons to other students. This means that the MA TESOL students, during the studies at Essex, they become teachers as well. They become teachers of other students, and they plan lessons, they deliver these lessons to English language learners here at the university, and they try to apply the knowledge that they get from our classes to what they do as part of their own practice. And this teaching practice that they gain here at Essex is very useful for them for later on, for when they graduate from Essex and they look out for a job and they also start working in education. So this is what we mean by vocationally relevant. We also have other modules apart from teaching practice, which focuses only on actual practice, on actual teaching. We have other modules that include sessions, small, like a few sessions on actual teaching. For example, our modules on teaching the 4 skills require students to plan lessons on teaching reading, teaching writing, etc., and deliver those lessons in class as well. But teaching practice is the most closely linked module to this vocationally relevant character of our course. The course is also research-led, which basically means that we apply on the course the latest research findings. So we actually use the latest research findings to inform the teaching that we do. And our MA TESOL students also work on their own research project as part of the MA dissertation, in which they carry out research on topics that are relevant, that are contemporary, and topics that they like, that they personally like. And another important characteristic is the hands-on training and teaching experience that we actually offer, as I have already said, mainly as part of our teaching practice class, our teaching practice module. Something else that we do at Essex is that we offer a slightly different pathway for students that have no teaching experience and students that have teaching experience when they start the course with us. So as you see here, according to your teaching experience, you can receive initial teaching practice or attend modules on educational leadership and management. Actually, our MA TESOL students can do both if they want. So if a student is experienced enough, but still they want to do teaching practice, they can do that. We allow them to do that. But if they think that they wouldn't benefit from teaching practice because they already have teaching experience, they can follow the leadership and management pathway. So we take into account our students' teaching experience when we try to advise them on which pathway to take. But we also have modules that every student can take, and they are all in the same class. Teaching experience is not a requirement to enter the course. We accept any student actually, even if they don't have teaching experience, prior teaching experience before they start the course. So don't worry if you haven't taught before, you can still be accepted, be admitted on the course. I have included on the next on this screen, the next couple of screens, I have included our modules. What you will see here are all the compulsory modules that every student has to take. I have included some optional modules that are what we call compulsory with options. It means we give a small list, a short list of compulsory modules, of modules actually, and we ask our students to choose a specific number of those modules. And you will also see some purely optional modules that are very popular, that our MA TESOL students from previous years have always been taking. And these are popular modules because they are very closely linked to what an MA TESOL student actually needs. So I start with teaching practice. I have already mentioned this module. It is a compulsory module on our course, and it is the module in which the MA TESOL students become teachers. And it is for many of our students, this is this is usually their favorite class. It is like the best module for them because it really links theory with practice. Another module that we have, which is compulsory as well, is language learning and teaching. You see here language learning and teaching / theories of SLA. SLA stands for second language acquisition. This is because these modules, the content of these modules is quite similar in a way. And I have put them here together. Our students can take both if they want, or they can take just the first one, because the first one, language learning and teaching, focuses on teaching as well, not just learning, whereas theories of second language acquisition focuses only on the learning aspect and not on the teaching aspect. But in terms of learning, the content is quite similar. The other module that we have for our more experienced MA TESOL students is educational management or educational leadership and management. And this is a module that our students can take in the second term instead of teaching practice if they want to. And it is a module that focuses on past experiences, past teaching experiences, what we can learn from them, how we can inform our current practice. And it asks students to think of a problem, of a challenge or a difficulty that they have faced as part of their past teaching or their present teaching and analyze it. And they analyze it through a longer project and a presentation that they give to class. And it is a module that includes a lot of group work, a lot of sharing of ideas, and so on. Another module that we have on the course, and it is also a module that is on offer for MA Applied Linguistics, Psycholinguistics, Linguistic Studies as well, is Psychology of Language Learning and Teaching. It is a popular module too. It covers different topics in the psychology of language learning and teaching, such as emotions, which I have mentioned already, learner and teacher emotions, learner and teacher motivation, group dynamics, how people feel when they are working on their own versus when they are working with others in a group. We also focus on issues such as learner and teacher autonomy, learner and teacher beliefs, and past experiences as well, and how they influence what we do now. Other modules that we have are individual differences in second language learning, which is a module that focuses on the cognitive side of learning. And by this, I mean aspects of learning or learner characteristics, such as aptitude, working memory, language learning strategies, language learning styles, etc. So it focuses on how learners understand and approach their learning and what they do. Okay, what they do in order to approach their learning. For example, what strategies they use in order to best learn the language. Another compulsory module for all MA students, not just TESOL, but for any student we have at Essex that is doing a master's course, is research methods. And this is a module that goes through different types of research that is applicable to linguistics, and focuses on the methods, on the research methods, and focuses not just on the theoretical side, but also on the practical side. How do we do research? What does it mean? What different types of research do we have within linguistics? For example, we have research in TESOL, research in applied linguistics, research in theoretical linguistics, research in psycholinguistics through experiments, and so on. So the module covers all areas of linguistics and what research we can do across these areas. Other modules we have are more specialized on aspects of the language, such as teaching and learning grammar, or teaching language skills, the 4 skills: reading, listening, writing, and speaking. Language testing and assessment is another module which is dedicated just to that. It is dedicated just to how we can test and assess our language learners. We have a new module starting starting actually in October, which is called Teaching English to Young Learners, in which we focus only on children. How best we can teach English or foreign languages to children from, let's say, about 4 years old up to 11 to 12 years old. It's pretty much pre-primary and primary school children. So the module focuses just on this age group and how we can approach our teaching of English to those learners. And we have another new module, which is teaching English for academic purposes, for specific and academic purposes, actually, which is also new, and it starts next month. And in this module, we focus on what our students need when they are learning English for academic purposes, for example, to study at an English-speaking university, or to be able to learn how to write an essay and things like that. And also how best we can teach English to specific groups for specific purposes, for example, business English, English for lawyers. Do we use different methodologies there? Do we use different materials? And the answer is yes. And how can we get those materials? How can we get ideas about this type of teaching? So this particular module focuses just on that. And the other module, which is also compulsory, is across all MA programs, is the MA dissertation. This is a module that actually our students start working on it really from April, let's say, March to April, until the submission date of the MA dissertation, which is usually in mid-September each year. So they are working intensively on the MA dissertation for about 6 months, with close supervision from a professor, like from a lecturer from the department. And during the time when they have no other classes, no other assignments, it's the MA dissertation really that our students are working on. Okay, this is what I wanted to say about the MA TESOL course in particular. I hope I have given you a good idea of what the course includes. I have mentioned some of our other programs as well throughout the presentation. On this screen, you see my email address. Please feel free to get in touch with me via email to ask any questions you might have later on while you are preparing, working on your application. But we also have time now, let me check, yes, we have time now to answer any questions you might have about this course, about any other MA course you might be interested in, and about studying at Essex more generally. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christina. Actually, yeah, I got some questions from the students who attended today's seminar, and also people who are watching YouTube live. So, yeah, actually, one of the students asked me, yeah, he seemed that he or she would like to know the average age of your course.
Can you say that again? The average?
Yeah, average age of your course.
Age? How? Yeah. You mean how long is the course?
Yeah, how old? Yeah. I mean that probably I think that the student would like to know how how much most of the students have a career as a teacher or not. I think. I suppose.
Okay, it might be that, or it might be how long the course is. How
Yeah,
long?
how long and this, well, I mean that how long, most of the student, if a student have most of the student have a teaching experience or not, if yes, approximately how long they are working as a teacher before joining your course, I think.
Okay, I got it now, and this is a very good question. The majority of the MA TESOL students have no teaching experience. I have to say that. Each year, we work with different groups of MA TESOL students, and each year, most of our students have never taught before. This is the reason why most of them choose teaching practice. Those students that have teaching experience and are doing the MA TESOL at Essex usually have, I would say, at least 2 to 3 years of teaching experience, full-time, I would say, so on a full-time basis. And then for different reasons, they decide to do a master's course. For them, it is a way to update their skills and to remain connected with the latest trends in teaching, etc.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, the other question is that the student would like to know the nationality mix of your course.
The national?
Nationality mix. So which country they are coming to from?
Right. So I would say that each year, most of our students come from Asian countries. So we do have, in recent years, we did have quite a few students from Japan in particular, since we are working with you now. And we have students from China. We have students from Vietnam as well. We have had quite a few students from Vietnam in recent years, Thailand and Taiwan as well. And then we have students, we have some European students from different countries across Europe. Quite a few British students from the UK on the course each year. And then I would say we might have like a student or two from other parts of the world, such as Latin America or Saudi Arabia. And I would say this is the national, like the mix of cultures that we have on the course.
Okay, thank you very much.
No problem.
Actually, I have some more questions.
Sure.
もし皆様ももし質問がありましたら、どんどんチャットボックスに入れていただけますと幸いです。はい。Okay, so the other question is that I think that's related about your entry requirement. One of the students said that he or she, he or she has a degree in business. But then, the student would like to be an English teacher in the future. Yeah, and is it okay for the student to apply for your course? I mean, that the degree is in business.
Yes, that is not a problem. It's not a problem at all. What we are interested in, we don't really mind what the first degree is on, as long as it is a good first degree. And throughout the years, we have had students on the MA TESOL program that have studied on different areas as part of their first degree. For example, we had business students before. We had students with a law degree. We had students in the past that have done computer studies and arts as part of their first degree. But we are looking for students who have a good first degree in any area, really. But we focus more on the grade of the first degree rather than what the first degree was on, if you see what I mean. So if this student has studied business and they have a good business degree, they will be accepted on the MA TESOL course if they meet all the other requirements, like the English language requirement, and they have uploaded all the documents, all the relevant documents as part of their application.
Okay, thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you. And also, the other student said that, I think that you mentioned the course title for the student who has a teaching experience. She or he would like to know the course title again.
Yes, this course is called Educational Leadership and Management. if you want to Google it, I'll put it in the chat, okay? It's LG 656. I have given you the module code as well. So if you Google it, if you put, for example, the full title, or if you just put LG656 Essex, you will see the description of this course on the website, okay? But if this is a course that you are particularly interested in, feel free to write to me, and I can arrange for you to get in touch with the course teacher so that the course teacher can give you more information about the content of the course.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, actually, the other question is that, the student would like to know about your teaching practice module. So in the teaching practice module, who can be your students for the teaching practice?
Okay, yeah, thank you for this question. I think it is an important question. We work very closely with a program, with the director of a program that we have in the Department of Language and Linguistics. And this program offers English language classes to learners at the University of Essex. So they offer English language classes for beginners, for elementary level students, intermediate level students, and advanced level students on campus. And we work closely with the director of this program, and we use some of those classes for the teaching practice module on the MA TESOL. So these students are all adults. They are based here in Colchester, where the University of Essex is, and they go to the university to attend English language classes so that they can improve their English. So they live here. They are probably here with other family. And as I said, they are here to improve their English. So we take some of those classes for our MA TESOL students, and our MA TESOL students teach English to those people.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
はい。Then, actually, もし他にも質問がありましたら、皆様もチャットに入れていってくださいね。Actually, the other question is, it's about the entry comment again. The seems that the student and actually he or the student's grade for the undergraduate program is not very good, but the student has a work experience as a teacher. So if a student have a relevant work experience, is it possible for, do you consider the work experience as well?
Yeah, we actually, when we review applications that come from students, we review the whole application. So if we think that in the application there is something very good that is related to the MA TESOL course, and we think that the student will be able to use this knowledge on their MA TESOL course, then yes, we would consider work experience. And also sometimes if the grade of the first degree is a little lower than what we accept, but it is still close to what we accept, and the student has teaching experience, maybe a good CV, etc., then we would again accept the student. We would support this application and accept the student on the course. So I would say that sometimes we have the very general entry requirements and very specific criteria, but there are cases in which we review applications individually on a case-by-case basis. So yes, if we see something good, for example, teaching experience for a period of time and so on, we would actually value that, and we would, if everything else is okay as well, we would be able to make an offer. It depends on individual cases sometimes, okay?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and the other question is that I think it's more question for more Edmund. Yeah, because it's related to the finance matter. Yeah, the student said that he or she has he or she is concerned about the finance matter. So the student would like to know if you have any scholarship program, and also he or she would like to know the living cost in Colchester as well. Approximately, yeah.
Yes, of course. We do have a scholarship for students graduated from Japanese universities. If they graduate with a GPA equivalent to a B, we will give them a 3,000 pound scholarship discount. Yes.
Okay, yeah, and also, yeah, could you tell us an approximate living cost in Colchester as well?
Okay. We calculate that they will need about 12,000 pounds for the whole year. The master course lasts for 50 weeks. So they have to be here 50 weeks. And the main cost is accommodation, of course, followed by food. So around 12,000 pounds.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, actually, the other student said that she or he would like to know the entry requirement for language, English language requirement for your course. So she or he would like to know the Ielts score she or he need to take to join your course.
Yes, Christina, is it 6.5?
Yeah, it's 6.5. So it's 6.5. Let me find the exact information because I have it here. It's overall score 6.5. Okay, hold on a second. Here it is. So it's 6.5 overall. We accept at least a minimum of 6 in writing. This is because our students are actually doing a lot of writing as part of the course. We expect them to do that as part of their coursework. And the minimum component score for everything else should be 5.5. So for speaking, listening, and reading, it should be a minimum of 5.5. But for writing, we are asking for a minimum of 6.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, yeah. 他に皆様ご質問などございませんか？もし何かありましたらお知らせください。Okay, yeah, let me double check and yeah. I think that it's kind of tricky question. It's coming from YouTube, but then yeah, probably the student is interested in working in the UK. So, and the student would like to know if you have any student who can get a job in the UK after, finishing your master course in the UK.
Okay.
Probably as a teacher, I suppose, yeah.
Well, yes. I mean, the British government is now allowing all the students who graduate from a British university to stay up to 2 years, either looking for a job or working in any kind of work they can find. So the answer is yes, they can work here.
Okay, thank you. But I think that it might be a little bit difficult to get a teacher's job in the UK. I mean, English language teacher's job for the non-native speakers. I suppose,
I mean, it all depends, of course, in the person and what he or she has to offer to the potential employer. So I don't think it's impossible. It just depends on the kind of job they're looking for, the requirements of the job and what they so not necessarily if he or she is not British.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, yeah. Yeah, and also, yeah, the student would like to know the deadline for the next year's entry. yeah, the deadline of the application for the 2022.
Okay. I mean, there's plenty of time. They have until next July, just to be on the safe side. It can be later, but I would recommend them to not apply later than July.
Okay, thank you very much. 他に皆様ご質問などございませんか？大丈夫そうですか？ Okay, so now also I got the news question, and yeah, and the one student said that she or he would like to know the career after after finishing a master course. Yeah, could you give us some example?
After finishing the MA TESOL course?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I would say that the vast majority of our students actually go into teaching once they finish the course and graduate from Essex. Many of our students actually, many of our international students actually have a teaching job back in their countries. Some of them stay here, and now with the new, the new decision of the British government to allow students to stay here for 2 years and look for a job, things will change, I guess. But I would say that most of them actually start teaching English in schools, in educational institutions, other types of educational institutions, for example, university level, or private institutions, private language institutions, what else? Some of them actually go into research degrees, so they decide to carry on with the research that they have done for their MA. But I would say that most of them actually work as teachers afterwards.
Okay, thank you very much. All right. Okay, so 他にも皆様ご質問大丈夫そうですか？ Yeah, actually, it seems that everybody can ask their questions. Thank you very much, Christina and Edmund.
Thank you for organizing this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
それでは皆様ですね、ご質問いろいろいただきましてありがとうございますね。はい。で、ご質問もう皆様大丈夫そうですかね。はい。はい。もし、皆様お聞きになりたいことを聞きたいようでしたら、本日のですね、ウェビナーは終了させていただきたいと思います。本日はですね、夜分遅くまでご参加いただきましてありがとうございます。またちょっとね、ご参加のね、時間、ご案内に関しましてはね、ご迷惑をおかけしまして申し訳ございませんです。それでは本日はどうもありがとうございます。Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Yeah, same to you. あと、ごめんなさい。それでは本日終了いたしますので、ありがとうございました。